Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking. That means a lot. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And today we're talking all about this season as a whole. I mean, this is a video talking about what I like about it, what I don't like about it, the edit, the characters, the casting, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're talking about everything. And this is the season review and really overall how I feel about not only this season but the past three. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff because it's free, it's easy, and it really helps the channel out. All right, so the first thing that I personally want to talk about is casting. Now, I don't think this season necessarily put us super ahead of last season in casting. We saw a bunch of, top tier A category characters in 42, and I think we saw the same in this season. 41 is a whole different story. I mean, horrible casting aside from Shan and a few others. And so to me, I do think the casting wasn't that different. The key here is Jesse and Cody. Not only are these players very good players in the game, players who will shake the game up and make choices that make the season fun, but most importantly, they don't feel like pawns on a board. You had these big players in the game last season. These players that tried to play the game very hard, like Hai, like Drea, even kind of like Jonathan, and yet you didn't really feel yourself getting super connected to them. But when at the end Jesse blindsided Cody, and then when Jesse went out in fire, it felt real. It felt like a moment similar to the Tony and Sarah moment in Winners at War, where they go up in fire. It felt like a emotional moment where you genuinely cared about the people. Not saying that you sobbed and cried for Cody and Jesse, but it was definitely something that you cared about. They were people that you got connected to, and their arc was done very well. And that starts in casting, because without them, there is no arc, or as far as like the storyline goes, there is no gameplay to that level. So I do think it's very impressive here that casting could find these two. What casting needs to do more of here is find players who aren't trying to always do the right thing or look amazing on TV. Jesse and Cody don't really care what people think of them on Twitter. They don't care if they come across as the hero or the villain. They're just being completely themselves. Jesse, because of course he doesn't really have like some large friend group at home, he talks about this during the season, and this is a very relatable dude, in character on the show. And then Cody, because I mean, it's Cody, he's Livin, that's his character, and that's super fun to watch as well. These are two people who don't really care about what people think of them, and therefore they had no problem not only backstabbing but really just maneuvering in the game in a way that really had no regard for let me look good on TV, let me get a good edit. They did not care about that, and so it felt much more real than people like Hai and Drea, who seemed to be kind of pandering to the character, trying to play up a character. Next, my eyes kind of move over to the edit. Something that I do think was better this season. Again, the arc of Cody and Jesse is the highlight of the edit. Now, I will say there are some flaws here. Now, first of all, I do think Sammy's edit was a bit confusing. He was shown as this player builds up, and he's about to make a giant move, and then he never makes the move. It's very confusing. I think you could have given, some other players, maybe you spend more time at building up Carla as an even bigger blindside candidate, for her boot. I feel like that may have been better. Maybe you build up James as a bigger threat, because his blindside seemed to be very important, but instead they spent it on Sammy, a character who really never panned out to be anything or make any giant moves or take control of the game. Kind of just ended up being Carla's puppet. And then I think on top of that, the first 4 merge episodes to me felt very slow. And again, to clarify, this is after the Ellie Boot, blindside, which was so giant. It was such a big episode, and it felt like we were riding into a very fun post-merge. And the next 3 to 4 episodes were pretty mid at best. It really took until that Noelle episode, which even to me was pretty poorly edited. And I feel like that is the highlight of the horrible edit. In that episode, we kind of got this arc a bit built up about how it looks like Noelle's going to go home. She's being built up, and then it kind of switched to Sammy, and then it switched to Gabler bringing up Cody and Jesse's name right before Tribal, which panned out to do nothing in that episode. Completely useless. Again, the edit was very confusing, especially in this boot that seemed to be pretty simple. It's Noelle having a big target on her back and getting taken out. Very simple. So the fact that they were able to mess that up and not make it a big, fun, not iconic, but giant episode in this season, and instead it just felt like a mid-tier episode, is a fault I think, on the editors single-handedly. I think the strategy was there, the vote was there, and production did not mess it up. Speaking of production, let's talk about the twists and advantages. So I do think coming into this season, we were expecting kind of a new version of the tacky Beware advantage from last season, and I do think we got a big upgrade. These bead advantages, although I think they're kind of stupid, are much cooler. I would like to see a return of the amulets from season 42. I thought that was a really fun twist that kind of balanced itself out with the target that it put on your back, but on top of that made you able to take it in different routes. Do you want to work with the players who have it, or just vote them out? There's several things that you can do. And then on top of that, I do think it's pretty cool that the beads here really rely on social gameplay. You really have to have either friends on the tribe to kind of vouch for you and say, hey, you know, give your bead, or just be a really good player on your own socially. A player cannot just like dumb their way through this advantage, which is fun. I thought, to me, that they really tried to push the knowledge is power advantage at the merge here. It was pretty sad how it didn't really pan out. Like, not sad because I wanted to see it be played, but sad because it's just like, oh, poor production. They're trying so hard to get this dumb advantage into the game, and they're just failing. I think they really want a repeat of what happened with Xander in 41, this super iconic moment, arguably the most iconic moment of this new era so far. And it's a really similar idea to the nullifier, right? In 37, you know, the first season that it existed, the perfect scenario happened, and production's been kind of chasing that since, and they've kind of ended up ruining the game. You know, people like Janet going out because of it, or in 40 where it didn't even really get played. It's a stupid advantage, and they got lucky the first time, and now they don't realize that it's a dumb advantage, and it really is not needed in the game. So I think overall the key differences between this season and the past two is the feeling of it being a human season. These people are people that you do actually care about. Even the people that you hate, like Carla, got more to develop than the players that you love, I think, like Jonathan. Like, the fact that Carla may have gotten a more developed arc than Jonathan shows you that there's something different about the season. There's something to work off of on this season. I've said it all season. There is potential in whatever they did differently this time. They need to do more of it and amplify it. Get more Jessies, get more Codys on these seasons. That's the way that you fix this new era. Obviously, you know, the best way to fix it is just to go back to 39 days. But if they don't, then they're really going to have to perfect these arcs, these Jessie and Cody type of arcs. Get these players on the season, get them great edits, and hope that they go far. I have this season as the 27th best season. Jessie and Cody really do save this season at the end here, and Gabler's win over Cassidy really saves it. What do you think, though? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, none of this happens without you guys. I'm sure we're guys speaking a word microphone, and that's how I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.